objective reality in a way as something that's invented, then you can never you don't really have a basis to compare something being 98% accurate, I guess, is the point I'm trying to make. So it's more like,
I'm just guessing. I don't know.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, so it's more like you have 98% agreement among people within your group. Or something.
No. Rather that 99.8% of the experiments have gone by the hypothesis.
So you're saying, so agreement among the experiments that scientists have done. Sure.
Yeah, instead of people themselves, because people can think whatever they want, but they are, if it does not add up with the experiment, as Feynman said, it doesn't matter, because we're trying to explore the world out of ourselves, not within ourselves.
Right. But even here, you might not know that you're actually getting to a source of the truth, because all empirical science can really give you is if you're creating like a model to like figure out like why this happened, like the only thing you have is something that's predictive. You have no way of knowing if it matches up to some absolute truth. There's no way to test that.
Yeah, but we don't need absolute truth.
Right. I mean, I would
need absolute truth.
We clearly, demonstrably, we don't need absolute truth since no one has it, right? So
I agree.
Since we're all here,
we don't need it. We don't actually need it. We just need it out of curiosity of sorts.
Yeah.
For example, we need only, that's just a guess, 80% accuracy when we're doing something industrial, etc., etc. We don't actually need 100% for the corporation, because it will cost too much for the research, etc.
What you're doing, it just has to. People mostly care if it just works. That's
exactly.
If it works.
Something I'm saying is that if you make a decision, even if it's the bad one, sometimes it's better than making no decision at all. So even if you're going on completely incorrect science, sometimes it's better than if you did no decision at all.
Right, and this actually is like an argument I've heard a lot of people make against Myers-Briggs. It's like, oh, well, this isn't something that, has any basis in like a neurological theory and stuff and all this kind of stuff. But what I've always recognized about it is that it is predictive about people's behavior, right? And it could be completely arbitrary, the distinctions and how the whole thing has been lined up and everything. But that doesn't make it any less useful as a tool. Doesn't make it any less useful as, and that I think applies to, all concepts and theories and stuff. Depending on the circumstances, I guess.
Yeah, that's also why religion has had demonstrable value, even if it's completely
right. Well, the current, kind of like atheistic, logical positivist, dogma that exists, that in and of itself is a belief system, and it has suppositions that are based upon, faith. At the very origin, and it's supported after that supposition, like everything else is supported by evidence, but it still has this element of faith.
Atheism is a religion too. You're the first person I've heard say that besides me.
That's why a lot of people say they're agnostic atheists, just to get away from that.
Yeah, they're just like, I don't want to. Please don't harass me. I just want to go about my day. I'm agnostic. Okay, just leave me alone.
I mean, I am rather agnostic because I have no arguments in that sort of debate.
Well, I think the first thing you have to do, if anyone's ever talking about God, the first thing you have to say is, all right, before we get any further, we need to define what God is. That's the thing that you always got to start with, because the reason people get so bent out of shape, especially like atheists and theists when they talk to each other, is they both have these ideas and definitions of what God are, and they're often different, and then they go in and start arguing based on that, and then they get nowhere. So you have to be clear.
It's strawmanning the other person.
Yeah. And it's just misunderstandings all around,
Yeah, but it's also like people want to misunderstand each other. They want to argue with a crackpot religious person that believes in...
Yeah, they want to pick, sometimes you'll pick the person that's like the easy target, right? You're like, oh, I know no one will take this person seriously. I'm going to assault them mentally.
So will host Eric be around anything?
I can try to get hold of him.
Who needs host Eric when you have she?
Hi.
Wow.
Full of topics.
Nah.
And Koto.
Don't put the pressure on me, casual. Jesus.
She is like a supportive background, interesting character that is never like that is. It is like an enormous vice protagonist, but never gets to be in the play as a main character.
He's an antagonist.
So like some kind of supernatural character that influences the character.
No. like the
Eric,
vice.
I'm a big fan.
Thanks.
Like your videos.
Awesome.
Not an NPC. Well, maybe an NPC. Like the wise monks that teach you how to do things and are way more wiser than you, but are not actually in the play.
I see.
And they like support you and cheer you up through the way, but they don't actually like screw anything or contribute to the plot in a negative way.
Okay.
That's how I generalize the. Oh, hi, Eric.
Oh, hey, how's Eric? How's it going?
Hello.
Hey.
Hey everybody,
Okay.
I'm here to have an official conversation about cognitive functions.
Uh-huh.
I'm in a super chill and not fighting mood right now because I've exhausted all my fightiness this morning on this pressing issue of boobs. I don't know if you've been following this controversy. Eric Thor has been a boob controversy around here.
You know,
Right,
if I didn't know any
Eric.
better, I'd say you're an expert at creating controversy.
I don't create these. Other people create them. I'm just peaceably going about my business.
You have
God
to take
damn it.
responsibility for your
All right,
reaction.
Eric. See ya. I'll just add to the or I'll be in the background.
Well, you just
Rather.
missed an interesting conversation about ethics and morality. So,
It was pretty good.
Okay. Well, Eric, I want to talk to you about whatever you'd like to talk about first and foremost, and then I've got plenty of other things I wouldn't mind having conversations with you about. So I'm going to start recording here.
But don't talk
I
about
understand.
cognitive functions. Don't talk about cognitive functions, please.
Who said that? Ash? Okay.
Yes.
Hi.
I
Eric
don't
here.
want to
Let's talk-
fight.
Ash. I'm going to start this video over. Damn it.
Yeah.
Gosh.
All right. I'm an idiot. My
You get
model
your ass-
is wrong for
you get your ass
whatever.
beat.
Let's fight.
You have-
Let's fight
you have
another day.
1 more inch of rope, Ash. You have 1 more inch of rope. That's it.
No. Let's not.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You beat me too, barely. Hi, it's Eric here. I was talking to Fed people, and I'm here with Eric Thor, Arch Admin Susie, host Taylor. Somebody's calling me. God damn it. It's Kimberly. Hold on. Give me a second.
Wasn't me.
Keep this video.
Hello?
I need to talk to you.
Okay, hold on.
Don't
I got. I'll be right back. Give me a second.
We want to hear and be voyeurs and help and participate.
It's just like to see his.
It's his girlfriend, the new one.
Oh,
So he's whipped still.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was.
He'll be whipped until the day they part.
I wasn't gonna say it, but I'm glad you did.
Eric liked it, though. Seems.
He seems to prefer it.
Just holding a slot for Eric.
Which one?
I'm just terrible in the sense that whenever the phone calls, I never answer. I'm like, I didn't see anything. It's not. It's not actually calling.
The relationship is new.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it does. Good job. It says the Taylor of INTP. That means that he's extra awesome.
Yeah, even my relationship was new. I still didn't answer. But actually called up within 2-3 minutes or something. But I don't know. I need 2 minutes to charge up before I can answer a phone.
Sometimes I'll go quite a while. Like unlike many people, like I'll leave my phone at home sometimes, and like I'll go to school, for example, and like people are like, "How are you alive?" I'm like, I don't know. It's easy. I'm just here, you know.
I should make a habit of that sometimes.
My phone is always on silence. I never hear it at all.
No, that's usually my problem too. And I can't really put it on sound because then it calls at inconvenient times, and then I put it off, and then I forget to put it on.
Are you questioning Katie's headband, Elsie? Is that what that was? Because I don't have any comment on that. It is what it was. Yeah, it's one of those things. Well, we were about to start a video, and then Eric's girlfriend called, and he like dropped everything, dipped out of the room, and ran away.
And Eric Thor came in previously today when he was all up in the tit stuff.
Well, you gotta sort out tits.
We just post all of them.
What was the essential debate?
How big is too big?
No. Are you in the Facebook group?
No.
No. He posted picture of women wearing the Talking with Famous People shirt.
Ah, yeah.
And they were cropped around the tits. And some people didn't like that.
I don't have any idea.
Yeah, who knows?
Scary. So you have people actually buying and wearing your shirts everywhere?
No, he's giving most of them away for free, I think.
Ah.
Well, he does sell them, though.
I'm trading him a polished turd for one. I said I've traded him a polished turd for a shirt.
Like an actual
polished turd. I told you that I would make that actual trade. But you have to send the turd to him. And it has to be polished.
I'm going to. I haven't. It's not actually like a super fast process, but I'm working on it.
I'd imagine that depending on the freshness or maturity.
You gotta go turd hunting and find the right ones, and then yeah.
Does it have to be properly aged? I'm sure.
Yeah.
Get the good.
And you want the right color. I mean, there's a lot of variation. There's a lot of possibilities there.
Greenish
Don't just pick up any turd and polish it.
Can you? How about? Oh, never mind.
We can hear you.
Yeah, I thought to myself maybe I should just not say what I wanted to say.
No, come on.
Taylor.
Out with it.
Channel your Taylor.
Say it.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next time. Maybe there is no next time.
You are not the Taylor of INTP.
Well, there's a difference between INTPs and ENTPs. The fact that I'm Taylor of INTPs doesn't make me a Taylor of ENTPs.
I understand.
There should be a difference between the two, right?
So what axis are you measuring your Taylorness?
I don't know that the Taylor of INTPs thing was Eric who is the one who said it. So
because you're always like fighting with him.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, but don't watch a bunch. I don't want you pulling all the bandwidth off of it. Stay off of YouTube. Do something else.
But Eric, I told you there was being made a game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen the troll question?
No.
Oh.
What's that?
Oh, it's like a little question or story we tell on air when people get typed. And that story is being made into a game, like with
a video
models
game.
and everything.
It's pretty cool looking.
Can I see it somewhere? Can I find it?
Well, Zach is the one who's making it. He's in Australia, so if you come in about 3 a.m, he's the guy with, and he's the beard with a person on him.
I think he put a video up
Yeah, I'm finding it.
showing his progress.
Also, hello, people I haven't talked to on camera before. Eric number 2 or whatever you are.
I'm
Eric
here.
number 2. Oh,
And who else is like? Is that Ash?
Ash is no longer present.
Okay, who's the other person on camera that I haven't seen?
Kato's down there.
Person with headphones and a blue shirt under a black shirt.
Rubbing your fingers.
He probably
Rubbing his
doesn't hear
fingers.
you. He can't hear you. Earlier he couldn't hear Cotto. Yo, man, can you hear me?
Let's talk
Who
about
is
it.
it?
I think he's
Person with headphones.
Okay.
Oh, what? Sorry, you guys talking to me? Started zoning out.
Can you hear Audra?
Can you hear me?
Who?
What's your name anyway? That
Oh,
was the
I'm Zach.
question.
But you can call me, Ixme, I guess, if there's other Zachs. I don't know. I have
Oh,
like
you
a.
can. Yeah.
Hello.
I still think he can't hear you.
So who am I supposed to be hearing right now?
I'm Audra. Hello. Greetings and salutations to all those who I am.
I guess I don't even see the video. Let me reload.
Try now.
Yes.
Hello.
Hi. Now I
Can you hear
can
us?
see. Hi. Hello.
Greetings.
What's
All right.
up?
Not much. I need to eat more food. I'm about to eat some more cheese, is what I'm about to do. But I thought I would say hello to all these new people.
What kind of cheese?
I haven't decided yet. I got like 4 kinds.
Are you on Firefox, Zach?
Yes. Is that the problem?
Yeah.
Should I use Edge or Chrome?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to update it.
I'm not sure that Edge is ever the answer. Ever.
Well, only if the developer specifically made it so that the web page only works in Edge for whatever reason.
Right. And they should be found and
Crucified.
talked to quite yes,
This is
violently.
leave the spot for Eric. He joined the first room.
Okay, I guess I'm gonna switch over.
So we got Eric back.
Yeah. So, just so people I'm sure are curious, I will give you the gist of that conversation, which is navigating the closure of other shit on her end, right? So, just making sure that everything gets tidied up on both of our ends regarding any side shit that was going on is a part of the process, and it can be a little bit tricky to navigate because obviously jealousy comes into play, and then there's argumentation, which is there are certain argument chains that you don't want to argue at all because you don't have good standing on those particular chains. So how to avoid those chains is part of the critical process of guiding her through her end of that. I don't need any guidance on it because I know what I'm doing as far as rhetorically executing that shit.
Or you can debate them and lose them.
No, that's what I'm saying is this is one of those things that's not about like a logical position or something. Kato, will you stop playing Earthquake? This is about managing relationship stuff, which I'm discovering I'm extremely good at. I'm much better at managing relationship stuff than I am at managing dating stuff.
Some people are better at relationships.
What's that, Taylor?
You were impressive at juggling that last time, like I said. It wasn't until I watched it later that I realized how many leashes you had a hold of at once.
Yeah, that was complicated. Okay, so here we are with Eric Thor. I'm ready to go now. I've got a recording software open. I've got a pair of headphones to put on my head. And I've got a volume knob to turn down. And echo-free recording is about to begin. An unspecified error occurred while recording. Hello, friends. Hi, I'm host Eric. Welcome to Talking Famous People. I'm here with Eric, special guest from the Eric Thor Experience, his YouTube channel, where he discusses the works of the Neo-Jungian Institute and the cognitive function model. I'm here, of course, also with host Taylor, Archid, admin Susie, Casual Alliance P, host Janelle, host Audra, Elsie, member of the Committee of Awards, bald guy who I don't know, Kato, who's doing his normal nonsense, and Blanky. So, what is the first topic of conversation today? I would imagine would be a response to the response video.
Yeah, I was. I loved the video. I was watching it on the subway on the way back home from Myers-Briggs type meetup in Amsterdam, and I was laughing through half of it. Actually, it was pretty good. It was. I like most of the points that were made. I thought I had one thing that I found very funny though. It was in the video. I was talking about how intuitives tend to be a little sloppy at times. You know, they skip over things and so. And then I noticed that you only watched 5 minutes of the video that you were talking about. So it felt like, oh, okay. So, and then you started speculating. Oh, I think he was going to say that or make that point.
No, we didn't. That's not true, though. We said, here's sufficient idea base to work off of. We have several ideas here to talk about. There are ideas about intuitives' bias about sensors, so we can address that directly. And we have an example of an FE INFJ thing to talk about. Then we have the actual things you say in that INFJ FE thing, which is about intuitives to talk about. So there's plenty of ground to cover to build shit off of just with that 5 minutes. We did not speculate about what else you might have said at all.
No. It was the things the points that I found most interesting. There were like some things that I had questions about mostly, and it was someone brought up that I was confusing sensing with EE, and they didn't really elaborate. So I was curious, like in what way I might be confusing sensing with TE, because that's one I would like to clear up if there is.
I think what you're referring to, they may have been saying I was confusing sensing with TE. But I could be wrong.
I think I said that an ENTJ was a sensor.
Yeah, I think it was you. Yeah. What did you? In what way?
It's because they operate on a physical production process, not on a cognitive. First, ENTJs first do shit, then analyze it.
Intuit.
Right. They have SE results before they engage their intuitive process, or simultaneous.
TE, not SE.
Yeah.
I would say intuition is a very native part of the ENTJ's overall processing, but it's that first they do have NJ, of course, in the sense that they are about speculation, and if they're about what result will that get, where will that lead, how will that go, and they're kind of fishing on trends and patterns around them, and they're kind of predicting patterns, making immediate predictions about this pattern is probably going to go in that way, so I will jump on that. So I would say that it's not that they go first to sensing and then to intuition, but I would say that intuition is part of that.
I'm using some words technically and some as sort of examples. But if you leave with TE, then you methodically
it frames the NI such.
Right.
can I take a stab at explaining this? 'Cause I think I get what you're saying. I think I agree with it in general, which is the TE frames the NI such that it's in the service of a very localized or not meaning-rich goals. Because TE is looking for efficiency of getting from A to B, and then FI is producing less complex realities to attain. You end up with this sort of ESTJ with a little bit more magic to them, you know? And the bottom line is with 4-slot FI people like my dad or an ENTJ, or you might be right. I think my dad is probably an ESTJ though, but regardless, they've got little direct connection to the weight of shit, and they get stuck very much in the execution of the processes of things.
Yeah, like I tend to say that ENTJs are in the executive quadra, if you would say it like that, in a sense that they are about overseeing how something is put into play. Like they are not necessarily the agents that are acting out and just doing things, but they are directing the environment. So as a judging type, they are about organizing the environment and making sure everything is in its right place and making sure they have all the resources they need to fulfill what they want to do. And making sure that everyone is kind of executing the overall script, their overarching script in a sense. Well, is everyone at the right place? Is everyone doing what they're supposed to do? Is all the paths going in the way that they should be going? And
when we're talking about sensor and intuitive differences, I tend to think of intuitive as a general term. Obviously, it's a poorly used general term because introverted intuition plays out very differently than extroverted intuition, because introverted intuition plays out like an epistemology, extroverted intuition plays out like an action. But the thing is, the main difference, I think, when I think intuitive versus sensor is how much meaning is there surrounding for each physical event. So it's like for each moment of physicality in your life, how much meaning do you have about it? And I think what ends up happening is sensors have, in each physical event or moment or thing in their life, they've got a pack of meaning around it, like this. And they live in those meaning packs of things in their life. Whereas for me, I've got a meaning cloud like this, and then these events link in through multiple chains all through the thing, which then produce additional clouds to reference how these links mechanistically work as examples of different kinds of mechanisms, which then is the meta cloud of meaning that contains the whole thing.
Yeah.
Which is much different than a sensor, right?
Yeah. Like when you look at a sensor, an ESTJ, and compare it to an ENTJ, it's that, first, desire to assert yourself in the environment. An ENTJ doesn't necessarily need to assert themselves in the environment at the same way an ESTJ does. The ESTJ wants to make sure everyone is looking at them, that everyone is listening to them, that they have everyone's attention. They're doing attention grabs all the time. Like, so do you get that? Do you get that? Where the ENTJ kind of expects that you get it, and
so my dad is an ENTJ. If you're right about that, my dad's an ENTJ.
Yeah.
He does not do the attention grabbing thing. He gets annoyed when you don't immediately understand him, even though he didn't really explain it very well.
That's an ENTJ.
Yeah, I think so too. That they expect you to understand what they're saying. They expect you to.
If you do an even halfway decent explanation of it, I would have understood it because I'm plenty bright. Sorry, Eric. You became my dad for a moment. I had to take out my frustration on you for a second there.
Sounds fair. I was actually thinking maybe we could sometimes do. You wanted to do a quadruple or something. You told me last time.
No,
maybe we could do like.
I prefer it. Hold on. I think now I want to do a quadruple. Okay, I did want to do a quadruple, but now I think I want to do a quadruple, and I'd like to have us be yumping between jargons while we're doing it. Yeah, we did a quadruple, Eric Thor. We did one. Now, I want you to be an INFJ quadruple. What else goes in with INFJ in the quadruple?
what will happen if I hang out with an ENFJ, an ESTP, and ISTP?
Elation.
You think so?
You'll experience elation. That's what it says. That's what the holy gospel of quadriballing says. Is that what happens in a quadrable is you start feeling a little bit of elation. The longer you hang out with your quadrimates, the greater the elation, until finally you become so elated that the rest of your life is perfect. Yeah.
That sounds like a really friendly quadra.
I don't think an INFJ EST quadrable thing would be too friendly in its nature.
I mean, I'm an ENTP, so the dynamic between an INFJ and an ENTP is going to naturally be fairly harmonious. But I don't see a lot of INFJ conflict, just generally. And I would think that they are the most conflict-prone type, just from in that quadrant. I
can't hear shit. I don't know what's going on.
Well, I would say that the ENFJ would keep asking me if they are doing everything right, and if they are, and I would be like, yeah, sure, sure, sounds good, that's probably right. And the ESTP,
all the conflict, though, I think would be internalized.
Yeah, but I know like Personality Hacker has been a big fan of like telling you should hang out more with people who are your co-pilots, like your auxiliary. They tell INFJs to hang out with ENFJs more. But I don't know, it's not for me. It's really not for me. I can appreciate an ENFJ, but it's that they do overwhelm me and talk me out in a way.
They kind of want more connection. It's like,
yeah, it's important for them to have genuine, meaningful connections with the other person. And, for me, like, so I like to tune out. I like to just zone out for a bit, and in that sense, I feel like it's hard.
I mean, to the extent that whether it's first, second, third, wherever the function lands, having extroverted feeling in first and third is hugely different. I mean, as social harmony as an objective versus, social brattiness.
Yeah. And it's also like that an ENTP won't bore you.
No, that's true.
ENTPs do get sensitive sometimes, and they do go like, "Oh, were you mean to me there? Did you like they ask me sometimes, like it happens, but usually they are they have a level of fun that always makes it interesting.
And we're not sensitive.
Hey, you're sensitive. You are. ENTPs are sensitive to like emotional vibes from other people and from like overall from sensory overstimulation. That's why you also keep a kind of tough facade on sometimes. It happens.
We pick up on it easily, but then don't always respond to it appropriately.
Yeah.
And probably quite a bit of the time it's intentional testing, but then a lot of times it's actually like, oh, miscalculated the importance of that to this person.
Yeah. And that's like the thing, like, I'm planning to make a video about thinker stereotypes and how to be a thinker in a way. Because I've been saying a lot of time that being highly sensitive is correlated with being intuitive. Where intuitive becomes more easily overwhelmed with sensory stimulation, so that's why we prefer to use the imagination, usually, to engage the world.
I don't. I've heard that a lot. I don't relate
things
to
to navigate.
I don't find myself sensitive to senses. Actually, kind of the opposite. I'll walk through a burning house if I'm lost in a train of thought and not notice that I'm on fire.
Yeah, that can happen to me too, I guess. But you notice this is also part of my SC sometimes, in the sense that I do environmental scans all the time. I'm usually pretty good at recognizing who works at what store, and though that I know from before, and from having like that overall grasp of my environment that ENTPs don't really have. I feel like ENTPs get easily disoriented because if something is in the place you're not expecting it to be, you don't notice it.
Right. Yeah. Or if it is where you expect it to be, I think.
That also confuses.
I think I'm more prone to noticing inconsistencies in something. If something's out of place, that's what holds my attention.
Oh yeah.
But if it's where it's supposed to be, I mean, I can't tell you how much I walk. You just walk by shit that's by you all the time. This corner's always here. I don't ever notice it. Boards are a problem. But you were saying about making a video teaching feelers how to think.
Yeah.
The way
well, that would not really be the point, but I'm mostly curious about exploring how thinkers engage in feeling. Because to me, I believe that thinkers and feelers have separate consciousness. Different way of seeing the world in a way.
Right, and I think that it would be easier to explain thinking because there's words and it's to some extent mathematical.
I believe that there are rules to feeling, though.
In what way?
Harmony. I think that there's some kind of naturally programmed rules, and that it's hard to count it. I think you can count it if you get enough time to do it, but it takes a long time to kind of count it out. But balance and harmony in aesthetics, those the golden rule in a painting, like what makes something beautiful, what makes you appreciate something.
I've got polar FI. I don't know.
I don't get
what
it
makes
either.
you appreciate something? What do you mean? What makes you appreciate something?
Feeling and thinking is of course about value and discernment, and when you are in feeling, you make values often based on personal aesthetics. And that's usually coming out that's usually adhering to some kind of natural law about how the world, what's beautiful, what colors we like, how an object should be placed in relation to another object. People want the eyes to usually be 70% of the camera. That's the ideal, they say, because people prefer that usually.
Yeah.
So it's instinctual, yeah.
And kind of how different aesthetics make us feel.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the feeling aspect does have kind of a component to play in it, but it can also be about aesthetics.
Audra, turn your camera back on. You and Elsie's backgrounds were a fun whatever spread in extremes.
Juxtaposition.
Right. That's exactly the word I was looking for.
It's one of my favorites.
I don't think it necessarily relates to sensing entirely, because you're not really engaging in the physical senses exactly. It's kind of about how things are organized, but not necessarily how it feels, I guess, through the senses. It's just...
I agree. I think it seems like an external subconscious, maybe almost representation of your internal feelings. So Elsie has no soul. Audra is all over the place. I mean, I've got a very cluttered space that I'm not going to show you, but I do have things that are clearly prioritized here. I think that's consistent with an ENTP's mindset of this is what I'm doing now, and then kind of lose track of everything else.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
writing
it doesn't
about.
exist unless you need it.
I also sometimes think about like where does if aesthetics is related to feeling, where does sensing done? What is the intersection there? What's the contrast? And I think that often, in many ways, sensing adheres to physical data role. It's not about necessarily is it beautiful or not, but there can be qualities to that. Like if you use feeling and sensing together, that's when you start saying, "Oh, what a beautiful sunset." Oh, what you smell good. Oh, that's in that sense. That's when you go more into sensing and feeling. But when it's about sensitive thinking, that's just the raw mechanic of it.
But isn't that more about being present?
Being present. It can be, yeah. But I think that generally when an intuitive is present, it is either through a perspective that they filter the world from. Like the INFJs, 90Ps tend to look at the world from a set perspective. This is how to understand the world, to comprehend it. The ENFJ tends to look at it. The ENFP tends to look at it from what's possible here, what's next, So there's an overlap there in the sense that you can access them through that, but then the intuitive always accesses the physical world from the intuitive world, that consciousness.
Yeah, when it comes to aesthetics for me, it's kind of just sort of an intuitive thing that just kind of happens. And I can't quite put my finger on like why it happens. It's just kind of an intuitive, this would look like this, so it's like that.
But you probably have harmony in a room.
To some extent.
Visually, whereas the colors here contrast all. I mean, there's no consistency at all. There's individual things that I like. This and there's a black and white painting over there. Do not do anything with each other as far as the harmony of the room.
Yeah.
I don't think. Whatever we're talking about is related to feelings. I think it depends on whatever your dominant function is.
Well, I think that to some extent it can tie into feelings, so they can kind of overlap to some extent, but I don't necessarily think that they are primarily influenced by feelings.
Like a good smell would be SI. Something that has a repetitive pattern or a symmetry would be TI. Something along those lines.
Yeah.
I mean, like if you see something that is symmetric or has a pattern that repeats itself, and you say, "Wow, this is," and you like it, it's probably because of your TI. You know?
Yeah.
How do you feel about carbon fiber, Ted?
Carbon fiber is
awesome.
Second only to, like, I don't know, maybe titanium, like brushed stainless or something. Depends on the place.
I think carbon fiber trumps titanium. Or brushed stainless.
I have to say that, I'm not sure either. I tend to like carbon fiber.
What is this feeling you talk about?
Of the love of carbon fiber?
Yeah.
Oh, that pattern is so satisfying.
No,
It
I'm
is.
just trying
It
to
is. It's
understand.
But I feel like whenever you're talking about if something is important or not to you, or it's meaningful, like with art, it's not really about sensing or intuition. It's more about feeling or thinking. When you're thinking about if it's fun to look at, if it's energizing, if it's like a sensor can appreciate how the energy from the sun or from the light in the room, or they can go, they can appreciate the air, but it's not that it's the energy from it. It's not that it's like fulfilling or motivating, unless you tap into feeling or thinking. also.
But like
It's like the ambiance.
with a picture, it can be also associations, and then it's sort of a me.
Yeah.
It can be anything.
Yeah, okay.
There's something interesting is I've had a tendency to make things, and I don't know if they're aesthetically pleasing or not. Like, I just go like that and that and that. And then it doesn't do anything for me, but then other people like the way the colors. But a lot of times, too, they'll say these colors don't go together or whatever. But then when whatever it is done, they're like, oh, I can't believe you made that work or whatever. But I never know. And so people tell me.
Yeah, but you make like dragons and stuff on it.
No, just simple stuff sometimes. I mean, it just, you never know.
I saw you made one with a dragon on your painting.
Yeah. But, I mean, I'm always just kind of making it up as I go along, and I really don't know if it's good or bad until people tell me.
Would it be okay if I changed the topic, or would that be, like, not good for the group harmony?
If it's psychopathy, we have talked that to death lately.
Oh, no, I don't want to talk about that.
Oh, what?
Psychopathy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. I haven't been around for
I
any of
think
the
I'm
topics.
not, but it was fun. I just wanted to check in and talk because I mostly were curious.
Oh.
But I'll come by another time.
Yeah, see you later.
Okay, see ya.
See you.
Damn, I wanted to ask him a question.
I want to hear about psychopathy.
Okay. Taylor wins, as always.
I was not anymore. Now you win, so that
I don't win that much.
I'm telling you to win now.
But what did you want to ask, Chloe? Do you think we can answer it for you?
I think I've mentioned it before, but if you guys want to talk about something else, then I don't really want to interfere with that.
No. Is it narcissism?
No. I was interested in knowing how an ENFP can develop their, like, other functions, like TI and FE, because I want to master that. So,
I think that TI is the easiest one to teach because it's mathematical, or it's an equation, right? So it's deductive. If you take something and then shave off the bullshit from it, so you're left with the most consistent core of the idea.
All right, well, let me know when you plan on using it, because I'm going to end up scheduling it between like 3 people moving forward here. So, okay. So if you'll let me know when you plan to use it, then because you're number 1 right now, because we've already started, but that way I can try to work it in and let some other people do it too.
Okay, probably next weekend, or this coming weekend.
Okay. Just shoot me emails and keep me in the loop and let me know. Okay, thanks. Right. Thank you.
So,
I was muted.
It's cool. We were just listening. TI, as an example, would probably be easier. Applying TI to a situation, or like, somebody help me here. Give me a situation.
I don't think so.
What kind
Let's
of
just say
situation?
that because you're TI creative. She's TI polar. It won't be easy for her.
exactly, but it's
It's
like
not about the function.
I want-
It's about where it is.
I want to develop it so that I can have full mastery of all the functions.
I think what you're saying, Taylor, is it might be easier to define a process for making a TI-like decision, and kind of a system for actually going through it.
Right. So
Externally.
it's a judging function. That's how you make decisions. And basically, what is the core objective of any action? So if I need socks, what's the quickest way to get to the store? What's the most? It's an efficiency process. Audrey, you were doing better in your one sentence. Take it away.
I don't know. I would say it's about I don't know. It's not always efficiency, but it's figuring if it's in pursuit of a goal, then it would examine the possibilities, and pare down to the best one. But you're using your sock example. I mean, I think TI could also go and say, why do I need socks?
Right. Then the objective would be not getting socks.
Right. Are there alternatives to getting socks? Are there alternatives to going to the store? And then you're like, and then you realize that you need socks because you didn't wash any of your other socks.
So if you want to be a master of
And then
all,
you realize that you don't care that your feet are not socked. And so then you decide not to get socks.
if you want to master all the functions, PI is going to look at how functions line up and say which ones am I weak on and which ones am I strong on, based on the function stack. And then you'll realize that by definition, because they're stacked at all, no one can be a master of all of them, because it's contrary to the understanding of the function.
But then what if you challenge yourself and you push yourself? Like, I'm of the belief that if you are determined enough and you persist with something.
Okay, so what would, if you persevered through and you accomplished mastery of all the functions, what is your personality type? Because all the functions you're equally perfect in.
Yeah, or another question would be, why are you seeking to master all the functions equally?
Because I
or
recognize
focus on the weaknesses. See?
Maybe it's more of a focus on the weaknesses, but I already know what I've mastered already, so it's like
Right. See, that's the question here: is why is that the focus? This is my TI talking here.
Right. We're doing
What's the point of this?
TI.
You're just saying, well, I'd like to have them all. Well, what is the point of having them all? Like, why is that?
To be successful and very versatile.
Right.
Wide variety of things.
What you're doing is positive. Or you're Neptune's here. Good. What I was bitching about him doing last night is negating things. What you're doing is proposing things. But TI is a negating function.
Oh.
So what if you want to develop your TI instead of saying what you want? I want mastery of this. I want to improve this. TI is going to be the opposite side of that, which is what Neptune does constantly, which is this is bad, and this is bad. Your timing is perfect.
What does Neptune do constantly?
TI, negate. Chloe's trying to learn to do TI better. The opposite of TI is what she does a lot, which is affirm or propose production objectives, but it doesn't reduce the problems with its objective.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense, Chloe?
Yes. I was also.
So she should do the thing that Taylor hates about me.
Oh, I don't hate anything anymore. I needed to sleep it off.
No.
I do still have some bonus effects, but they're not with you.
Because hate implies that there is a feeling involved, and the whole process is not really revolving around feelings at all.
Huh?
Well, hate is a strong word implying that there is a feeling, but yeah.
Oh. Well, but he wasn't using it that way.
Oh,
is Chloe talking? I can't hear her.
Yeah, she is. He used hate as a tool word. It only served a purpose in context of the object of that sentence. The focus of the sentence was not the word hate.
Okay.
At all. It was almost a trivial component of the sentence.
Yeah. So what would you say are some games that allow you to develop TI?
Anything math-based. Chess.
Debating.
Yeah, I mean, debating will be a great way to, because you have to see the weaknesses in someone else's position. Getting more arguments.
Forget
Yeah,
about you.
Deconstruct with like evaluation of something.
So if you want to develop a function, start with your role. Start with SE.
Yeah, I agree that your 7 slot is a bad place to start.
Oh, that is horrible, because usually when I'm forced to act on SE, I get so anxious because it's like, damn.
Well, if you try to do the same with TI, you'll get more anxious. It's even worse. Polar, it's worse than the raw.
I get kind of drained whenever I try to use TI to some extent. Hell, I get drained whenever I try to use TE and SI. So I think maybe I have to make it my plan to master those of what I already have first.
I mean, if you understand the definitions of them, and if you agree with the definitions of them, you can't master one without pulling from the other.
Yes.
So you can't be a master of FE and FI at the same time because you're managing the same thing in different planes. But it uses the same sort of thing.
Yeah. FE just is so different. I mean, it's like really different.
Right. And you're the kind of island of FE in the sea of TI that is this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just from a perspective point, you're going to recognize your own FE or lack of TI way more here than probably in place.
Yeah, but the majority of my family members actually are TI and FE users, so I guess that's kind of the reason of why I want to conform to some extent, because I want to be able to be on the same playing field as them. Because they've been challenging, and it's like a challenge, and it's like I want to push myself.
I think, right, which I think is a good thing, but I think that you need to keep the perspective that if you're an FE Dom, that's going to be your strength. You can't ever, I mean, like, to the amount of effort that it would take to be better at TI than a higher function TI user seems like an inefficient use of the energy.
That is true.
I prefer to maximize strengths than reduce weaknesses.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely work on your conscious functions first, like. But and another thing that kind of part of my theory is that you're going to get to those less preferred functions via some of your strong functions, right?
Yeah.
Like you're never going to go straight to TI. It's just that's. It's like I was talking about, like the way that an ENTP I think goes to SE. There's a couple of different paths, but it's always through some of your dominant, your high up functions.
Oh.
You can get to an FE conclusion through TI by realizing that you need to do a short-term thing that is an FE reducting action.
I can't hear you, Chloe, but I think a good way to start improving TI is probably asking questions when people are talking and making them walk through the logic, and then follow that logic over and over with different people, and then who are good at TI, quote unquote. And then yeah, and then I don't know, just understand how the process works, I guess.
Oh, so like,
but I still can't hear you, so.
Would it be bad to ask somebody like
I would recommend doing something like a formal logic course or something like this, because you see from the when you do something like that, you understand from the very base principles everything that exists about the system, and that naturally lends itself well, I think, to this sort of way of thinking, the TI sort of thing.
Okay. And maybe I could learn TE too and master that, maybe?
You're in the wrong place.
TE bad.
And then,
I found myself in desperate need of TE, though.